I know it's been a very long time since I posted, so I thought I'd reintroduce myself to new people reading my story. My name is Hugh, and I moved into a house in the woods. When I arrived, I was greeted by creatures of unknown horror. Not all of these creatures were out to get me, like my best friend Charles, the seedling, or the skinwalker that had vanished during my last post. I now work for a company called Redacted, and I'm here to finish my story. There are a lot of things I know now that I didn't know at the time. The last time I left off, I went to bed after being followed by people in a van. That night was incredibly rough. I could hear the sound of the gossipers using the voice of my deceased grandfather, telling me to open the door and let them in. That was the night I learned that the gossipers did not work alone. They had managed to find some other entity to join them in tormenting me. I named them the solicitors. I imagine everyone has had a solicitor knock on their door, preaching the word of God or asking to buy some sort of merchandise. These creatures are different. They can bother you by getting near you. I went to my door to figure out who was knocking on my door when I was met with a completely dark figure wearing a black hat on the other side. I didn't open the door due to the large stature of the creature and its speech pattern. It kept asking through the door,
"Sir, I would like to talk to you. I need some help. I've been trapped out here for quite some time."
This might be able to fool some people that don't live in a situation like mine. Through text, it seems like a perfectly understandable sentence. When spoken, it was like the person on the other side was struggling to even pronounce the words would, like, and talk. That wasn't even the only thing. Its voice was just unnaturally deep, as if it was spoken through some sort of voice changer. Since it was unable to get inside unless I allowed it in, I decided to talk to it. This is how the conversation went. "Hey buddy, you don't sound alright. I imagine you would like in." It kept responding to me with,
Yes, please. I am hurt pretty badly."
in which I told it, "I imagine, did you trip and fall with those early long legs of yours?" Keep in mind, with this all going on, the gossipers were too stupid to stop their talking, making this entity's story completely unbelievable. And after I told it that, it proceeded to knock at a faster pace and a lot louder. And this was not one of the nights where I would allow myself to be easily fucked with. I asked the solicitor to give me 1 second. I'll be back with something for him. I entered my bedroom and whipped out a machete I'd bought before I moved here, and walked back to the creature and I told him, "Hey, come a little closer to the door. I'm having a little trouble hearing you." And when he did, I slid the machete underneath the door, hitting it on its feet. It began to scream in an incomprehensible voice. I watched as it proceeded to walk backwards into the woods where the gossipers were. Everything had finally gone silent in the area. Charles proceeded to walk out of my bedroom since he slept inside due to the mass of the gossipers that had been in the area. He asked me on a little notepad, "We safe inside?" I didn't believe so, but I lied to Charles to keep him from being scared. We eventually went back to the bed and I slept with a machete under my pillow, out of fear that the creatures deciding he can somehow get inside the house. The next morning, I decided to go back outside and check on the doorway. It had started to grow to about the height of the creature last night, which is probably around 7 feet. Me and Charles decided that we need to find a way to keep these creatures from getting through the doorway, or at the least prolong them from getting to my house or the townspeople. Charles had grown large hedges with thorns around the doorway, and I had sharpened large sticks and stuck them inside of it, hoping that if something had decided to crawl through, it would be impaled. Once we finished doing that, we decided to go back into the town again to gather some supplies. The ride was stressful. We had just got followed by a black van, and I was nervous it would find us again. Luckily, nothing had happened. I did notice something that I hadn't realized before. People were sick around town. From what I heard on the local radio, is people should stay in their homes and try not to go near people. The symptoms were redness to skin, blistering, and violent hallucinations. I entered the local gun store and purchased myself a pump-action shotgun. This was so I could rack it and scare the shit out of anything that came near my house. I left quickly, though, after noticing the cashier had slight blisters forming on the skin of his neck. The drive home was normal and peaceful. I was finally able to relax and listen to some music. I zoned out until I noticed a pair of headlights in front of my house. It was a black van again, and 2 people were knocking on my door. I racked my shotgun and I hopped out of the car. I pointed at the 2 people and told them, "What are you doing here at my house? And why did you follow me last night? You have no idea how dangerous these woods are, and I'm not even referring to myself." Both of the gentlemen turned around and raised their hands. One of the younger men yelled back at me, "You better lower that gun before you have the companies on your ass." The old gentleman looked back at his friend and told him, "Silence. We're here on this man's property, and we definitely gave him a scare last night. He has every right to point that gun at us." I told the older gentleman, "What do you mean by the company? Who are both of you?" The older man chuckled and told me, "Lower your gun, boy. I promise, I have answers for you. We are not here to hurt you. On quite the contrary, to be exact. We were here to send out due to the large number of recent missing persons reported in the city. We believe this might be due to some entities like you. Said there are more dangerous things out here in the forest, so why don't you go inside and have a chat?" I told them, "For me to let you bastards in, you'll need to empty your pockets and drop any weapons you have on you." They complied. I took anything they had on them and led them inside. I didn't lower my gun until we made it into the living room. They sat on the couch while I kept my shotgun steadied on them in my lap. I asked them, "So what are you guys doing here? What is the company?" The older man spoke up and said, "As you know, there are many creatures inhabit these woods. Who do you think keeps the make-believe fictitious?" I told him, "I don't know. What are you, the men in black?" He gave out a chuckle and said, "No, son. The men in black. No, son. The men in black wish they were us. We hunt down the things that are believed to be reside in your nightmares, not just creatures from outer space. Why don't you let that little fella Charles out of your pocket now?" This caught me off guard. They must have been watching me for a while if they knew about Charles. I sat Charles down on the floor, and he grew to his normal height. The older man told me, "He's such an amazing specimen. They don't usually befriend people due to their sheltered nature. Do not worry, we do not hunt creatures like these. These are classified as ranked 1 entities, are actually from our reality." I knew this already, but him telling me they do not go after rank 1's creature made me relax more. I lowered my gun and sat it up on the nightstand next to me. What had me concerned, though, was what he meant by our reality. I asked him, "What do you mean by our reality? And are you saying there are more?" "Precisely, son. And what we believe is that there is some kind of mist, fog, or doorway that resides on this property. From your post, though, we saw that you stated there was some kind of doorway here. That's why I also knew you had the little fella on you." I knew that posting about this place might have been dangerous. I didn't realize that's kind of attention I would get. I told them a bit angrily, "So you guys know about everything. So then you should know about the old god living inside the damn door." He spoke up in a more stern voice. "Boy, like I said, we deal with the things that you couldn't even imagine. Every reality has creatures living in them, and are all different. The portal you have here is most likely a dead realm. These have opened up before, but had luckily closed before anything serious could come through. I don't think you understand. This sickness in your town is caused by the entity that have been leaving the realm. It is truly amazing that you are immune to it. I guarantee this is thanks to Charles. People from the company have to be vaccinated to fight off these viruses, and that doesn't always work. The samples we have been taking from the local area and wildlife have already shown that it's spreading at an alarming rate." I told him, "What does the company want from me? If you guys know how to close this thing, why couldn't you do it and leave me out of it?" The younger gentleman laughed. "What do you think? with a corporation as secret as ours, don't you think we would have silenced you and finished the job yesterday? We are here to invite you to the company. Someone that's able to make friends with entities is needed in this line of work. Also, from the likes of you, I'm starting to think the poison's finally setting in. My eyes began to widen as I looked down and noticed my arms, my skin, starting to turn black and blue, and I couldn't move anymore. The older man spoke up and said, Son, I'm gonna give you one option. An invitation to the company is incredibly rare. Son, I'm gonna give you one option. An invitation to the company is incredibly rare. If you come work with us, you will be forced to hunt down these creatures, but will be rewarded. If you don't, in around 3 minutes your heart will completely stop. There was nothing I could do. I knew that I couldn't leave Charles alone. So many what-ifs came to my mind. I settled on my answer. Fine. I'll join you. The younger man got up and stabbed my leg with a needle and told me before I blacked out. Welcome to the company.